Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 173. Excuse me. Today, we are back for another weekly episode. It is Wednesday night, right? It's not Wednesday night.
It's Thursday night. Yep.
Yeah. Usually we upload Thursday, but our schedules were just a little wacky this week, so we're recording it today, which is perfect because the All-Star Reserves just got announced about 10 minutes ago. That's why we were waiting to start, because we wanted to talk about those. Somebody pretty important made an announcement yesterday, so that was also good that we held off. So all around, you might be hearing this a day late, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it when we saw what happened. I mean, we would have missed out on, we were going to record a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
So we really would have missed out on, I don't even know who that certain someone you're even talking about.
I can't really remember, so we'll just move on.
He must not be that good or important.
Tom Brady retired from the NFL for good. This was something that I guess I wasn't really expecting. I honestly kind of thought he was going to stay another year just because it was like, what was the point in like coming back for a year just to have the only losing season of your career and your team like just sucked and then you just retire? Pretty weird move out of Tom Brady, but you got to respect him. All-time greatest player in the NFL. It's up for no debate. He is the greatest player of all time. No quarterback in our lifetime will come close to 7 Super Bowls. I really don't think so. Even Mahomes, he's so good, but I struggle to believe he gets 5. I mean, it's just like 7 Super Bowls is an unreal amount of Super Bowls.
Like, you can pass all the, you can go and get all the statistics. I do believe that one day but then again, he's 45. Like, he literally played till he was 45, which is just ridiculous. So even his passing numbers are crazy. And even his he was one of the last 5,000-yard passers every year, even in his old age. It's incredible the career that Tom Brady has. Yeah, I totally agree. There's not a QB in football who I could see doing that. There's not a QB alive that I know of that I could. 7 Super Bowls is just it's too perfect.
It's quite amount of Super Bowls.
No matter how good you are, it's not about being good. At some point, it's about being in the right situation at the exact right time. 10?
9? He lost the Giants, or 10, lost the Giants twice, Eagles once. So
yep.
NFC East just gets the best of them, I guess.
It's incredible what Tom Brady has been able to do, and everything, just like you said, everything has to be so perfect for a player to win even 5 Super Bowls. So for it to be in a more perfect situation than Tom Brady was, we won't see that for a long, long time.
And it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel that like surreal, I guess, that he would retire just because of the whole situation from last year. And like he didn't end on a high note by any means.
Yeah.
So it doesn't like hit you that much. It's like, wow, Tom Brady retired. But like, I mean, he has been one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL our entire lives.
Yeah.
Like that, this whole era of QBs, ended with Brady. Breeze retired, Rivers retired, Big Ben retired,
There's
Eli
one guy
retired.
Left.
Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Rodgers
Aaron
is
Rodgers is the only one left. Which is crazy. I don't care about him. So like,
he's the worst.
So for me, it's over.
He's the worst of the whole group.
So that whole era is done, and this new era of quarterbacks are taking over, and it starts with Tom Brady leaving. So shout out to Tom Brady. Speaking of Tom Brady, we are going to be doing towards the end of the episode. It's going to take a longer time, so we'll get to it pretty quickly. But we are going to be predicting the starting quarterback of every NFL team next season. Going to be super fun, but let's talk about everything beforehand. Quickly, I don't think we need to spend much time on this because we have a week in between, and it happened like almost a week ago now. But the Chiefs beat the Bengals, and the Eagles beat the 49ers. The Kelsey Bowl, Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl. It's coming.
I mean, it's pretty legendary for their podcast, even. Like
it's happening. Almost rigged, almost.
Yeah, it seems scripted, you might call it. I do love how all the NFL players are now getting on the script thing.
All the memes from this Arian Foster clip on Pardon My Take, dude, are just so funny. They are just the funniest things I've ever seen.
It's wild that he said that.
Yeah.
Like, he said all that.
I mean, like, he was, like, joking, but, like...
It's still crazy.
It's so funny.
The games this weekend were awesome. I mean, both of them. I cannot wait for this Super Bowl. I cannot wait to watch the Eagles and the Chiefs go at it. And I really, at this point in time, I don't even know who I think is going to win it necessarily. But I cannot wait for that game. Yeah,
we have a week in between. So obviously next week we'll do a much more prediction, NFL Super Bowl prediction. The line has moved a little bit, but Eagles, you can most of the time they're -1.5, 2.5 a little bit on some. They were 2.5 at one point. But you give Mahomes an extra week to heal up that ankle. I think the Eagles are the better team, but the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know who's going to win, honestly. I really don't.
And the fact that you get 2 weeks to prepare as well, like that extra week of preparation, makes the team who's a little bit worse, which I would say is the Chiefs,
yeah.
Get ready for it. They can come much more prepared to be a better team.
Right now, we're going to have the Pro Bowl this weekend, at least Pro Bowl events. They started tonight. Like I said, it's Thursday. I didn't even know they did. We just watched Jared Goff go up against the rest of the AFC quarterbacks in like the throwing contest. They just did the water balloon toss. I assume Amon-Ra St. Brown is doing his thing tonight too, so hopefully he goes off. But yeah, Pro Bowl events are going on right now, so go check them out. A little bit more NFL news. Sean Payton finally gets his next job. He gets traded to the Denver Broncos for a first-round pick in this year's draft and a second-round pick in next year's draft. And then the Broncos also got the Saints' third-round pick in next year's draft, I believe. So what a trade for a head coach.
Saints got the bag for Sean Payton.
For a dude sitting on the couch.
Like it wasn't like he was their head coach last season.
No.
He had retired basically and stepped away from football, and now they traded him. I mean, he wasn't even part of the organization, and they got a first round pick this year. It's pretty hype. It really is.
It is. Like W move from the Saints.
W.
Like, and the Broncos, they traded all their picks away except for a few for Russell Wilson. The trade deadline, they traded Bradley Chubb for a first round pick, and they figured, let's just trade that pick and go get Sean Payton. So, I mean, I understand, like, head coach, you didn't have many other options, and, you needed a new head coach, and you need someone that can get Russ into a right space, which I think he is going to be better next year for sure. But, I mean, like, Derek Carr might get traded for less than what Sean Payton just got traded for. That is weird.
They basically drafted Sean Payton with a first-round pick. I mean, in turn, they
just
said
lost a second for a third.
It's unreal. I mean, is Sean Payton that valuable?
I guess so, dude. I guess so.
That's actually ridiculous.
We'll see what happens with them. And then other head coaching news, DeMeco Ryans is the next Houston Texans head coach. They finally get their coach for the future. The last 2 years, ever since Bill O'Brien's departure, they've had 2 one-year coaches. Kind of both knew that they weren't going to be here long-term. They signed DeMeco Ryans to like a 5 or 6 year deal.
Wait, who is this guy?
San Francisco, D.C.
Gotcha. Okay.
But he was a former player, really one of the better defensive players in the 21st century, I guess. Played for Houston for a long time, so he wanted to come here. Apparently he had better offers on the table, and he wanted to come coach for Houston. So huge move for them, to finally get their guy, especially that wants to be there. It looks good for them finally to get their guy. And then, Deuce Staley is gone from the Detroit Lions. He is going to join Frank Reich's staff in Carolina. I think it has something to do with that is where his family is from, and I believe his mom has got some health issues going on, so he wanted to be closer to home. I think him and Frank Reich are boys. They both played in the same era, so it's tough losing Deuce, man.
Yeah. Shout out Deuce Staley, though. Mm-hmm. All love. For
definitely
Deuce
rooting
Staley.
for him, for sure. Because he was such a great assistant coach, really hyped up this team.
Just cool ass
the
dude.
running back coach of one of the best running back duos in the league this year. So it was definitely love for him. I don't know who's going to be the next running backs coach. Could be Barry Sanders. Never know.
That'd be hype.
Probably won't be.
I just hope whoever it is holds them as accountable as Deuce Staley did. Deuce was in their ears all the time. Especially Swift. You saw all the clips of him just bitching at Swift for not running hard enough. And I love that. I love a coach who holds his players accountable.
And we hired 2 new assistant coaches today. Dre Bly, a former Lion, will be the new cornerbacks coach. And then I forget who the tight ends coach we hired was, but they hired a new tight ends coach, also another former player. So obviously a trend that has been a thing for a while ever since Dan Campbell's been there with the Lions. Super looking forward to the rest of this offseason for the Lions, but we got other things to talk about.
Yeah.
We could have a whole episode talking about that. But yeah, that's it. All right, so that's pretty much it for NBA or NFL talk. Let's talk about NBA All-Star reserves because they just came out. The starters, I didn't write them down, but I think I can remember.
That's wild.
I mean, they're pretty notable players.
Yeah. But you're right.
Eastern Conference starters: Jason Tatum, Giannis, KD, and then Donovan Mitchell. And there's an elite guard that I'm forgetting about.
He's a notable player.
Yeah,
Kyrie.
Yeah, it's Kyrie. Yep. And then Western Conference is Steph Curry, LeBron. Was Ja a starter?
Or is it Luka?
Oh no, it is Luka. Steph Curry, Luka, LeBron. Jokic, and Who's the other four? Zion. Zion was
Gotcha.
the other forward.
So wild that he's an all-star starter.
I know.
He just I don't even know if he's earned it
He was
yet.
hurt for a little bit, but so let's talk about the reserves, the Eastern Conference reserves. Joel Embiid, Jalen Brown, which Joel Embiid being a reserve, crazy, but
wild.
it also kind of makes sense because who else is he going to take it over just for the forward spot? Just get rid of the positions,
dude,
man.
Literally just the 5 best players.
Yeah.
If I had to watch a game where it was Giannis, Joel Embiid, Pascal Siakam, Jason Tatum, and Bam Adebayo were the 5 starters, I would have no problem.
Exactly.
I think that would be awesome.
Why does it have to be East and West even? They just do a draft anyway.
Let's
Let's
put the best players in the world on the court.
24 best guys. Just throw them in the All-Star game.
I don't care if they're all 7 foot. It's cool.
Yeah.
That's what's
then
so special.
you have situations last year where Wiggins gets in, which no offense to Wiggins, but there was some snubs in the East that should have got in over him. Anyways, All-Star rant, because the All-Star game has become cool over the last so many years, and there still
important.
is
It's important now.
Exactly, there still is issues though with how they are picked. If we're changing everything else, why can't this be changed?
Just fix it.
Really weird. Also, Joe Mixon just got arrested for aggravated menacing.
Whoa.
I don't know what that. Or no,
I didn't mean to laugh.
He has a warrant for his arrest. So
Gotcha.
we'll
Hasn't
see.
been found yet.
I assume he will be arrested,
Yeah.
though. All right, the East reserves. Joel Embiid, Jalen Brown, Bam Adebayo, Julius Randle, DeMar DeRozan, Drew Holiday, and Tyrese Halliburton. Drew is definitely the surprise out of the East, but the Bucks are one of the best teams in the league, and they've had no Chris Middleton for most of the year, basically all of the year. I don't think he's even starting yet. He's still coming off the bench, and Drew has been really good. Snubs out of the East, though. There are some. I'm not going to be the guy that's like, this dude was snubbed, because I hate those guys. But low key, these 3 guys probably all should have gotten over Drew Holiday.
The one, I'm really shocked that James Harden. Before you even say it,
Yeah.
I'm really shocked that they put Hallie and friggin' Drew Holiday.
I can see
over him.
Halliburton just because he's the leader of his team and he took a jump and everything, and there always is a bias towards the first time All-Star or whatever.
Yeah.
But even Harden's having a better year. He's averaging 22 and 11, on pretty decent efficiency. They're one of the best teams in the league. So the notable snubs, there's a much more out of the East than the West. Jalen Brunson, which is fair because Julius Randle did make it, and the Knicks aren't some elite team.
Knicks.
Pascal Siakam missing the All-Star game is pretty huge. He's definitely having the best year of his career, but the Raptors aren't that good, so maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know who he would get in forward-wise, though. Jalen Brown probably was a shooting guard.
Brunson over Drew Holiday, and then put.
You mean Brunson over? Oh, I get what you're
And
saying.
then take
Yes.
Julius
And then-
Randle out and put Siakam.
I guess,
but
yeah.
the deserving player deserves
Right.
it. You shouldn't just do it so that every team gets a player.
Yeah, this is the MLB, dude.
This isn't this isn't youth sports nowadays. Not everybody gets a championship trophy.
But yeah, Julius Randle, I think that is he is deserving. I think he's had a really good year, but Siakam not making it is pretty wild. James Harden, obviously, and Trae Young, no Trae Young, but it's another situation with Siakam where it's their team isn't as good. I still think that
Young
shouldn't
is
matter that
wild.
much. I know he's been going
He's an all-star.
just add another spot to the All-Star game. Why is it only 12 dudes? There's 15 roster spots on every team in the NBA.
And if you can watch Trae Young play and think that isn't an all-star, the actual enjoyment you get from watching these guys, that's an all-star. That guy is totally an all-star.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, though, there will be at least one of these guys that ends up not playing in the All-Star game due to injury or something. KD, I think they said he's going to come back right before the All-Star game,
Just don't
so
even
he should
play.
be good to play.
Is it?
I want to see him play in it.
And I like seeing him play. He worries.
Are any of these guys? None of these guys right here on this list are hurt, so who knows? But yeah, a lot of snubs in the East. Siakam, Harden, Trae are the big 3. Brunson, you can say Brunson because it'd be his first time or whatever. But those 3 all missing, pretty wild actually. All right, Western Conference reserves: Ja Morant, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, first time All-Star; Damian Lillard, Jaren Jackson Jr., first time All-Star; Domantas Sabonis, Lauri Markkanen, first time All-Star; and Paul George.
Damn, that team is massive.
That is a massive team. You have the 3 guards right at the beginning, but the 4 bigs,
Jaren and Markkanen, those guys, that's going to be dope.
and Sabonis.
It's going to be crazy to watch Markkanen.
Happy he
All-Star.
made it for
Me
sure.
too, man. To think he was traded because they didn't know his value anymore. He didn't seem like he was ever going to be anything. Now he's an all-star. is so cool, and the Jazz getting the love they need.
Exactly.
That's so
and he's
dope.
been good all year.
Yeah, he has
Sabonis making it, obviously. Big snubs out of the West. No De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox definitely. Sabonis made it, so it's
Yeah.
like I hate using
they
that
are the
argument.
3 seed.
Exactly, they're a good team, so maybe they should. And no Anthony Edwards. That one was actually pretty surprising me because Anthony Edwards has been carrying this team on his back with Karl Anthony Towns out. I don't think Ant has missed a game this year, but like I remember when they played the Pistons. This was probably like 2 weeks ago now. He was just like hurt in the game, and he came out, didn't play like most of the second half, and came back in at the end, and they were like, Anthony Edwards needs to like take a week off for rest. Like this dude is just injured, clearly out there playing, and still hasn't like not played. So
That's hype. That's hype. A little bit of grit to the
it
NBA.
must be
That's
all
pretty
them hot fries that he's been eating. Did you see that? He eats like 30 bags of them a week or something.
That dude is a little kid.
I know.
He's a 14-year-old playing in the
They
NBA.
gotta help him out a little bit with that. But yeah, I mean, if Ant is counted as a guard, so him and Fox, I mean, who is Paul George? I guess I don't know if they would be considered. I mean, he was probably
probably
the
gonna end up
utility
making it.
guy.
Or is Paul George the utility guy for Zion? Like who's gonna get in for
Well,
Zion?
is Zion going to come back? Is he going to be good to go by the time the All-Star game happens?
I got no idea.
It's in like
He's on my fantasy
week and a
team,
half,
but
2
I haven't
weeks.
talked to him in a couple weeks.
Oh, I haven't.
I haven't texted him recently.
Jaren making it, though, I think is the biggest surprise. He's definitely been getting a lot of depoy love this year. Memphis, one of the best defenses in the league, and he like leads the league in blocks, gets a crap ton of blocks. But surprising that he made it, but obviously Spartan dog, so I'm happy for him.
Yeah, the Jaren Jackson depoy and the drama that's now coming out of it.
It's all stupid.
Have you seen that you can't bet on him right now to win depoy?
Really?
Like they won't allow you.
They just think he's going to win it.
It's just so clearly him and everything. And
They do that a lot, yeah.
It's so weird to me that's even an option. Because if it's so clearly him, then why can't I bet on somebody else? Because they want your money.
That's true. Yeah.
That's why.
That's really true.
But the whole thing, it's getting blown out of proportion. The
Yeah.
whole blocks and stuff that's going on
I mean,
in
like
Memphis.
it's like Rudy Gobert, dude. I mean, like they just developed their defense around him. I mean, obviously he's not Rudy Gobert, but it's just like the fact that they're saying like it's stat padding for Jaren Jackson is just like I think that's just how they play defense.
Yeah, and for the first I want to say however long he was out, for whenever that period where he was out.
It was at least like 2-3 weeks. Yeah,
The Grizzlies were the worst team in basketball defensively. They had the lowest defensive rating. Not since then, but for the entire season, they are now number 1 defensive rating for the entire year after
Really?
Jaren has brought them all the way back to the top defense
to
in the
bottom,
league.
or bottom to top. yeah.
That's a depoy. That's the defensive player of the year. That guy
I think
right
so
there.
too. All right. Okay, so let's talk about. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to think where we should go from here.
Me too.
So, this is what
water.
we're going to talk about. Trade deadline is a week from today. Thursday, February 9th is the trade. What are you looking for? Oh, okay.
Water.
A week from today, the February 9th is the trade deadline. I was going to pull up some Pistons trades for us to react to. However, there has been multiple reports in the last 2 days that basically is saying the Pistons are not going to make a single trade, and they are definitely not going to trade Bojan.
He's part of the future.
It had become a Bojan, we're only trading him if we get multiple, or if we get an unprotected first-round pick plus a young player. And then they informed Bojan yesterday that they want him to be a part of this team going forward, and next year they want to compete, and they believe he can be a part of it. Which is probably a main reason why he signed his extension when he got here. And they also talked about, Bojan even spoke about it himself, that we're missing Cade, and that was one of the main reasons that I was looking forward to coming here, because he's this team's best player, and not having him is tough. I don't think we'd be much better if we had Cade.
But shout out Bojan.
Yeah, exactly. And then they came out today and also said that even if they were offered a unprotected first-round pick, they would not be trading Bojan Bogdanovic. So we're not trading Bojan Bogdanovic.
Cool.
That's just what's going to happen.
You're going to have to overpay for him.
Yeah, basically. A lot of Pistons fans are kind of upset about this. I don't know. I think we have reached a point in the rebuild where it's keep continuing to acquire picks is not a bad thing, because you could flip the picks, for a bigger trade, but to keep making picks is something that I don't really want to keep doing. Because one, Troy Weaver is really good at drafting guys, and eventually we're not going to have the money to re-sign all these guys. So we need to compete at some point, and that needs to start next year.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Next season should be a blast. I'm really excited to see who we get in free agency because there's a lot of talk about what the money that we have coming up in free agency. It's not a massive free agent market, and you don't see a lot of players flip anymore. But I cannot wait.
Still could make a lot of moves, yeah.
Like, you think, like, Dylan Brooks, is he...
He's a free agent, yeah.
Like, could we get that guy?
I just don't really know if I want Dylan Brooks.
I do.
You do?
I think I like the grit. I like the defensive. I like the 3-and-D. I think he fits the culture.
He probably does.
He is a shot chucker, though.
That's why I don't know if I want him.
He definitely. Yeah,
He'd be chucking.
We probably have enough.
Especially
shooters.
on a team like this.
Oh, my God.
He does it
chuck.
on Memphis. That's a good team with other guys that are way better shooters. He comes on this team. He probably thinks he's the man,
you're right.
you know.
Maybe we should go out and get Peyton Pritchard and call it an off season. He wants to be a winning part of a winning franchise. Give us
I'm good on
Pritchard.
that. But yeah, I don't think the Pistons are going to make any trades. Back like a month ago, James Edwards III reported that basically it's a lock that Nerlens Noel is going to get traded. But what's the market for Nerlens Noel? You know, it's like he has barely played this year. Like, we'll probably just end up buying him out, I assume, and just cutting him and letting him go join another team because there's no point for him to be on this team. Alec Burks is another guy they said they don't really want to trade. I think if anyone gets traded, it's Sadiq Bey. I don't think they're going to trade Sadiq Bey, but I think if anyone does get traded, it will be him.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We have another week. We'll probably do an episode right before the trade deadline to do our final predictions before the deadline. And then we'll have to do one right after to talk about it because this could be a really boring trade deadline.
Could be a flop.
In general, like not just with the Pistons. Like other than OG Anunoby, like none of these other names I see getting traded.
I can't think of a player that I assume is going to get traded. And I do think Nerlens Noel could get moved, but if he does, it's going to be for a bag of chips.
Yeah, it's going to be for a second-round pick.
He's going to go to the Trailblazers or the Knicks or something. Not the Knicks, but you know what I mean.
They said Jared Vanderbilt today might be on the move.
I saw
so
that.
That's a
That's
report.
huge.
I mean, it definitely could help a team, like for sure, but it's not like a blockbuster by any means.
Like Nerlens Noel could go play on the Mavs.
Yeah, he could.
That'd be. I mean, he's probably an upgrade over Dwight Powell.
Probably. I mean, Powell's actually been pretty solid this year, but.
Yeah, I just think anybody could do what Powell does.
Yeah, that's very true. But I think the main guy that's going to get traded is OG Anunoby. Hopefully he does because there's all this talk that there's a team that is prepared to offer 3 first-round picks for him, and now it's reported that apparently that team is probably the Knicks. Interesting. I don't mind him on the Knicks, but you traded away your 2 first-round picks in last year's draft for future picks that you could trade. One of them guys is Jalen Duren. You probably like to have him. You don't. He's on my team.
Yep. You can't have him.
And to trade all them picks for OG Anunoby, no offense, like OG's great, but it's just like
it's the reaching at straws that the Knicks continue to do with their big 3 that they have with Julius Randle, RJ, and like it's cool, but like they're trying to build something they're not.
Yeah.
Like it's just 3 first-round picks for OG. Come on, man. He is not wild. That great. He's great. And all respect to OG. I love OG. But 3 firsts is just crazy.
I've been trying to figure out the team that I want to see OG on.
I got a couple.
And I have the team that I want. I for sure want him on, but I'll let you say yours first because I had another one and I'm trying to think of who it is. So go ahead.
I would love to see OG Anunoby on the Dallas Mavericks. They need to make a trade. They need to get more pieces. The other night, Luka Doncic and the Mavericks played the Pistons. We watched the game. Luka had 53, I think he ended the game with. He might have ended with
something
50.
Like that.
The next highest scorer, reminder, against the Detroit Pistons, the next highest scorer was Spencer Dinwiddie with 12 points. What a shitty-ass team. How are you that bad?
And it wasn't like they didn't win handedly either. It wasn't like Luka was just going off and they were blowing us out.
No,
like
Luka had to score 50
to
win. It's ridiculous.
Against the worst team in the league. We are the worst team in the league.
Go get some players. Go get OG Anunoby. I don't know what the rest of the market looks like. I would
like, is John Collins still on the market?
Yeah, he needs to be in Dallas. I don't know
if he is even. Like, I think OG literally is the only name that is like actually on the board.
Another cool team that I would like would be the Indiana Pacers.
I like the Pacers.
I think the Pacers would be a sweet destination for him. I think he'd really succeed.
The only thing with them is I don't know if they're in a spot to give up hella picks for him right now. That might be more of an off-season thing. The team that I think needs to trade 3 first-round picks for OG Anunoby, because you can, it's the OKC Thunder. You add him, the OKC Thunder start a lineup of 5, 6, 6 dudes. They don't even start a center. Imagine next year when you get Chet Holmgren back, you start him at center, you start OG at the 4, along with Shea, Giddey, and let's say you start Dort still, or maybe you start Jalen Williams, depends on what you do. You're probably going to have another decent pick, but the Thunder are good this year. Like, they're a playing team at the moment. So I think if the Thunder have so many picks, just trade a bunch of them that are down the line right now, give them up, get OG on this team, and try to make the play in this year. Go ahead. Shea's averaging 31 points a game. He's in the All-Star game now. You have gotten to the point where you're done sucking. You have a lot of good players, but they're all guards. Go get a wing, a 3/4. I think OG would be perfect for this Thunder team.
Yeah, it's a really interesting player to be on the market because I think, and I think you would agree with this, OG can fit anywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You can put him on.
Sure.
He's a plug-and-play player. You put him in your system, he's not going to disrupt anything, and all he's going to do is add benefits. He is an incredible talent. An OKC Thunder would be dope. And my question for you is Jeremiah Robinson Earl their fifth starter?
No, it's they start. I mean, it changes a lot, but he does start
That's
sometimes.
So funny to me.
Mike Muscala will start sometimes at center, but typically, at least what I have seen is they start Shea, Jalen Williams, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey, and who was the fifth guy? I just had him on my head. It's another guard though. It's not a big man.
Guard.
It's
Trey Mann. Is he on that team?
No, he is on that team, but he doesn't start. It's not Isaiah Joe either. It might be Isaiah Joe. I forget who it is.
But that is wild.
Yeah, they don't start a big.
It's like the less smart version of what the Raptors do.
Literally.
But they're better than the Raptors, so maybe they've got it figured out.
Yeah.
Maybe they're in the right.
I guess so. So that's our prediction for OG Anunoby. We'll talk more about, because the Western Conference is so tight right now. One team in the Western Conference really needs to just decide, that's in that bunch, really needs to realize the Western Conference is wide open. The Denver Nuggets are number 1 team. Grizzlies are 2. But it's those two teams are still they've not made a deep run. I mean, the Nuggets did in the bubble, but no one has made a deep run. And there's literally seeds 5 through 12 are all 2 games apart.
Yeah.
The New Orleans Pelicans are on a 10-game losing streak. They were at the top. Now they're not. So a couple of these teams need to realize we're a trade or 2 away from potentially being the 3 seed and making a deep run at the finals. I don't know who's going to make the finals in the West. Is it crazy to say that I do think the Lakers still have a decent shot?
Oh, no, I was thinking that the other day. Why don't they?
I think they're 11 seed, but they go on a little. I mean, they've been on a run already. They go on more of a run. They could easily be the 5 seed.
They start playing good basketball in the playoffs, and honestly, who is stopping a team with Russell Westbrook playing well coming off the bench? You're not beating that team.
Yeah.
Pat Beverly's being a friggin' menace on the floor.
And I don't think they're going to trade Westbrook for because I keep seeing this Zach LaVine Westbrook package or whatever. I mean, if you can do that, sure, but I don't think they're going to. I don't think the Bulls are going to want to do that either. So
yeah, the Bulls got to win this year. They don't even have their pick.
Yeah, exactly. Unless they ultra tank, and with Westbrook, I mean, he's still going to win you some games. So I think the Lakers, by the way, LeBron James, 89 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer. Probably 3 games worth. You never know, though. He could just go brazy. The Lakers Thunder game, which is it's either 2 or I don't know if it's 2 or 3 games away actually. So I'm not sure which one it is. $90,000 for tickets to that game. I know those are the expensive tickets, but holy shit, dude.
I wonder the people that we're gonna see at that game. It's gonna be one of the most loaded crowd rosters ever.
And then what if he just gets 12 points and
Gets
it happens
clamped.
on the road in Sacramento?
No, anywhere but Sacramento or Utah. That would be the worst.
Be terrible.
Shout out Utah, but no.
No, don't shout out Utah. All right, let's get into this trivia I got for you, and then we'll get into our quarterback talk. So, last episode I did 6 players, 20 points per game. Which ones 3 aren't, 3 are.
I did bad.
Yeah, you didn't do that great. So maybe I got something going in your head maybe I got to figure out who's actually averaging 20 points per game, really lock in on that.
Oh yeah, I did my trivia brush ups.
So that's why I did this. I gave you time to study. So in the NBA this season, there are 8 teams that have 3 20 points per game scorers. Give me all 8 teams.
all 8 teams with 3 20-point per game.
And this is, we were talking about this before. I gave Easton like a slight hint. This surprised me. Like there was many more teams that had 3 of them than I thought. I thought it'd only be like maybe 4 teams. I was watching a game last night, and one of the I won't say what team, so it'll give it away. The broadcaster brought up that this team has 3 20 points per game scorers, and I was like, that would be a good trivia thing to do.
Okay, I got one. New York Knicks.
New York Knicks do have 3. Randall 24.7, Brunson 22.8, RJ 20.1.
I feel great that I got like one right without getting one wrong. Like I had 8 teams.
I would hope you get a few right before you get one wrong.
No, don't start doing that. Well, I'm going to the hard teams first. I'm thinking. Well, when you say surprise, all I think is the bad teams.
I mean, I will say there's a few teams on here that I would say are bad teams. There's about 2.
I'm going to go with the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies do not have 3
God
20-point per game
I
scores.
was thinking Bane, Ja, and then like anybody else.
And 20 points per game from anybody else. Santi Aldama getting you 20 points per
The
game.
New Orleans Pelicans.
New Orleans Pelicans do. Brandon Ingram just makes it at 20.2, 21.3 for CJ, and 26 for Zion.
Are there any young teams on here?
There are, okay, by young teams, do you mean like the 3 dudes are young dudes? Or just in general, the team is young?
In general, the team is a young team.
I would say one for sure. There's a couple like, The team that's young is bad, by the way.
I'm going to go with the Magic.
The Magic do not have.
Okay, that was my guess.
Paulo's their only one, I'm pretty sure.
And that's what I assumed, but I didn't really know with Franz and Paulo, and then you throw on Fultz or whatever.
Here's a hint. One of these teams like was a bad team, and they're on a win streak right now. So I don't know if that helps you out or not.
There is somebody on a win streak, and like they're I was just listening to a podcast
like
today.
a 6 or 7 game.
Yeah, and they're still like the 10 seed.
Yeah,
like they're still
in
like
the East.
In the East, is it the Bulls?
It is not the Bulls. The Bulls do not have 3 20 points per game
and that's a I don't know.
Dog's got to stop barking, man.
I'm covered in Harley hair. So, and the Bulls' logic was Vooch.
Yeah, that Bulls
Levine.
is a pretty valid.
That's a
guess.
valid.
They for sure
guess.
have 2.
Man, this is tough.
There's a couple like damn good teams.
Like this Philly.
Philly has 3
Okay,
20 points per game. Harden 21.4. Joel 33.5. Maxey just sneaking it in at 20.2.
Yeah, I guess I would.
They almost have 4. Tobias is averaging like 17, but Maxey being hurt obviously helps them all get points. So.
Yeah, that's what I was. The Lakers.
The Lakers do not have 3 20 points per game scores. You're missing 1, 2, 3, 4 good teams.
The Celtics.
Celtics do not.
The Miami Heat.
Miami Heat do. Jimmy Butler 22, Bam 21.4, Hero 20.2.
Yeah.
Missing 4 teams. You got 4. You're gonna get all 8.
Yeah. I'm just trying. I don't want to use all my guesses.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm trying to
actually like lock in.
Yeah.
So you have 1, 2 Eastern Conference, 2 Western Conference.
like. And I'm just thinking, and I think I've talked myself into it. And do the Warriors?
The Warriors do.
Okay.
Steph Curry 29.7 points, Clay 21, and Poole 20.8.
I wouldn't have even put Clay at 21.
Yeah,
I would have
Clay been
I thought it was
balling.
going to be Wiggins.
He been balling.
Okay, so now I've got 5. I've got 3 teams left with 3 20-point per game scores.
2 in the East, 1 in the West.
The Portland Trailblazers.
Portland Trailblazers was the broadcast I was listening to last night when they brought it up. Dame Lillard averaging 30.7. He also went crazy last night against Memphis
been
and
going nuts,
hit back-to-back threes to ice the game. Anthony Simons 21.7, and our boy Jeremy Grant averaging
shout out him,
21.2.
Jeremy's having a good ass year.
He
He
is.
looks awesome.
He's
when
having
you
a really
watch him,
good year.
too. So I'm missing 2 teams in the Eastern Conference.
2 teams in the Eastern Conference. One of them is bad, the bad young team you haven't guessed, and the other one is the win streak team. That was bad. Now they're like
Okay, so I'm like missing
they're where they always are.
Pacers.
Nope.
No.
That's one of the 2 teams that are where they always are.
They always are.
You'll know this one once you guess it.
Another team that's like the Hornets.
The Hornets do have 3 20 points per game scores.
No
They're the
way.
bad young team. LaMelo, take a guess.
LaMelo Ball.
One of them was in the quiz from last week, if you can remember that.
Oh, that doesn't help me. Oh yeah, Kelly Oubre.
Kelly Oubre, 20.2 points per game.
I'm just, is it Plumlee?
Come on. He's probably not averaging 10 a game.
He might be averaging 25 rebounds.
Terry Rozier averaging
Yeah.
21.7 points per game, along with Melo and Kelly Oubre.
Who's a bad team on a win streak? Come on, Easton. The team that's in my head is the Hawks. I think I already guessed them.
Not the Hawks.
And
You
like,
didn't guess it. They're close, though.
And screw the Hawks, though.
Actually, no, they're not close because John Collins is
he
way down this
sucks.
year.
He's ass. I wouldn't even trade for him in a dynasty league.
Did you do that or
Yeah.
something? Oh, okay.
I traded a lot for him too. Eastern Conference. I'm trying to go through the teams now.
Joe Mixon's misdemeanor charge will be dropped Friday. All right, we don't.
So
really,
the warrant came out and then was dropped within an hour.
Well, it will be dropped Friday. So he still
Is warranted.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't know who this last team is.
Want me to tell you?
Yeah.
It is the Washington Wizards. 320 points per game
Can I
scores.
wait? So since I didn't get it, let me guess them.
You should get them.
Bradley Beal, Kyle Kuzma, Kristaps Porzingis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, they're
Damn
all
it.
averaging 20 points per game, all well above,
Yeah.
all about 22 points per game. So, and the Wizards, they're that team. You know, they were finally realizing we should just suck. We're going to trade Kuzma away. They go on a win streak. They say, we are not trading Kyle Kuzma. We're just going to let him walk in free agency.
Come to the Pistons.
And
He will. That'd be hype, bro.
I don't know. I'm trying to think about it. I love Kuzma, but like if we keep Bojan,
Let's trade Sadiq.
where does
right
the
now.
fit go?
Let's
Like,
trade Sadiq right now. And get
I mean, I
Kuz in
guess,
the offseason.
but that's just a lot of offense in that starting lineup. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I know what you're saying.
I love Kuzma though,
But
and
yeah,
Paul's
yeah.
we're going to pay him, and he'd be the highest paid guy on our team.
Yeah, and that'd be kind of wild.
Is your team with Kyle Kuzma as the highest paid guy a winning team?
compete? No.
But we have our best players on rookie contracts, so I love Kuzma.
I was thinking the hometown kid.
Yeah,
too.
exactly.
Like I know he's not from
Still
Detroit.
got to get
but-
that jersey, so like, if you're not going to do it, I'll do it.
Oh yeah, I got to do that.
Okay. Quickly before we hop into this NFL quarterback thing, college basketball, Michigan, they're slumping. I hate to just sound like a Michigan hater.
Oh, dude, you sound like one already.
But they are going to miss the tournament. They are going to miss the tournament. It would take quite the run. They already have gone through their easy stretch of the Big Ten, and they're 5-5 through it. They're actually at halftime right now.
yeah.
against
What's the
Northwestern.
score? If they are, oh my gosh.
Northwestern was favored to win this game. It's at Northwestern. They are up by 9 points right now, with 15 minutes to go. So could win this one. You never know. Jet Howard did return from his injury, so that's good news for them. MSU, let's talk about them quickly because they have entered their not easy stretch, but their nice stretch. They're 6-5 in the Big Ten right now, 14-8 overall. But their February looks like at Rutgers versus Maryland, at Ohio State versus Minnesota, at Michigan versus Indiana, at Iowa, at Nebraska. There's like one or two games in there that are losable games. The rest you got to win them all. So we got to go on a run here to really solidify ourselves as like a top 3 team in the Big Ten. So that's basically it.
Nothing more. I mean, I don't even want to. I don't watch Michigan. I can't. You can't.
Yeah.
They're that hard to watch.
Dickinson's having the worst year of his career, which is really weird.
Really weird.
As
but
it
also kind of makes sense.
Senior or junior?
Junior.
Yeah.
Senior year next
Yep, it
year.
is.
But it also kind of makes sense because like he's the easiest player to double team in college basketball.
Yeah.
Because who the hell is he going to pass?
He just
the
is
ball
not
to?
aggressive anymore. It's really
It's
weird.
so weird, man.
But Jet Howard, though, that is a bright spot. It is. I do enjoy watching Jet Howard play. He really has risen.
Risen?
Is rose a word?
Yeah.
Rised?
I mean, rose is a word, but
Has he rose on draft boards?
he's risen. on
Risen? Sounds weird. Like
He's
I'm
just little
risen
Riz.
somebody up.
Yeah,
dude. Like,
W Riz.
he has climbed the draft
Yeah.
board. One I saw, a mock I saw the other day. It was from not a notable page or anything, but had him going like 7 or something. in the
Whoa.
draft. So we'll see what happens. But he's for sure one and done, obviously, because he has been performing very well lately.
Mm-hmm.
All right, are we ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm as ready as I've ever
Cool.
been in the whole world.
We are predicting the starting quarterback of every team in the NFL next season. I know we're early, but we talked about it so much. I was like, I just want to do it now because it'd also be fun to go back and look at this because it's the way too early prediction.
Yeah.
You know,
like this is the day. Like way too early.
this is something we should do like right before the draft or right before free agency. But no, we're doing it now.
Mm-hmm.
I put an asterisk next to every guy that I believe is an absolute lock to be the starting quarterback next year of their team.
I like that.
And guess how many there is? And when I say absolute lock, I'm saying like for sure 1,000% this guy is the starter next year if healthy.
I would guess 19.
18 is what I went with. And, I mean,
nice with it.
You know what? I'll give you 19 because I did not count Kyler Murray because technically he is not the starting day one quarterback.
I put him down because I didn't give a
Which is
shit.
fair, which is fair. I did put someone that I think they're going to sign to be his backup for the first however many weeks. So, yeah.
I hope it's Chase Daniel.
But that's the thing. It's not. Only 18 out of 32
That's
teams.
crazy.
That is crazy that at 14 teams are up in the air on who their quarterback is going to be. So, let's get into it. The NFC North.
Yeah,
let's start with the NFC North. We'll do all the NFC. We'll go that way. The Detroit Lions.
They are going to start day one. Jared Goff. It's his league now. Tom Brady's gone. It's his turn. Take
His
over.
league now. Jared Goff, day one starter. It doesn't matter if a rocket came down and crashed into Ford Field. Jared Goff is a starting quarterback. I don't know how that would affect anything. But he is. That's what I'm saying. Guaranteed lock, 100%.
Yes.
Jared Goff is a starter. There is no world where he isn't. We're not getting Lamar Jackson.
No.
It'd be cool. We're not. Jared Goff. Chicago Bears.
Justin Fields. He's the starter. Screw the Bears.
Justin Fields. I didn't count him as a lock about 2 days ago, but they came out with a report this morning that said, because there was weird reports that were like, they might trade him and draft Bryce Young.
I do remember that.
But they came out this morning and said that they are going to look to trade the pick. If not, they will draft defense. Or they didn't say draft defense, but draft a non-quarterback because Fields is the guy. Fields is a lock.
Lock.
Minnesota Vikings.
Minnesota Vikings. Captain Kirk starter. He low-key could not, but like he is.
He is. What else are they going to do?
I don't know, but like
Who else do you go get?
it's either that or Justin Jefferson gets even more mad, leaves next year.
Like, he just had, like, one of the best years. Kirk might have just had a career year last year.
Yeah.
And he was balling in that throwing competition.
But no matter how good he is, his star receiver will still be running off the field, arms up in the air, pissed at him.
That's true.
It's a bad look.
That is true. And the Vikings are frauds, too.
And they're fraudulents.
Don't forget. They're
Fraudulence.
frauds. Yeah, Kirk is a lock. Green Bay Packers.
I've got Jordan Love starting this next year, which makes you think, where does he have Rodgers going? We'll find out.
I'm not sure. Yeah, Jordan Love is the Green Bay starter. He has to be. Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded. They basically said it's going to happen. Jordan Love, you finally have a chance. Let's see what he can do. You're going to have to play us twice a year, so good luck.
Good luck.
Buddy. I will. Okay, here's the thing.
Jordan
I'll
Love.
say Aaron Rodgers. I had three teams that was so hard deciding between which three. That is the Jets, the Raiders, and the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the only three teams that are in a realistic spot to trade for him. And I can see all three scenarios. So we'll see when we get to it.
Yeah, funny enough, those are the exact same three teams.
They are. Those are the three that make sense. And it's just like, I can see all three, but picking the one is tough.
It'd be awesome if you went to the Colts and just sucked. It would be so awesome.
All right, NFC South. This is easily the hardest division
my
to choose
God.
from because all four teams, we don't know. Because Tom Brady was the only one that was like, maybe you could just say Tom Brady. No. Let's start off with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Who is replacing Tom Brady?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to get the greatest replacement for Tom Brady ever. They're going and getting Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay.
He is coming to Tampa Bay. He's the perfect replacement.
Yeah.
You're getting Tom Brady 2.0 in exchange for Tom Brady. It works.
I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers realize we have such an old roster. We suck. Let's trade up in the draft. We are drafting Will Levis to be the next Tom Brady. I was going to make Will Levis not be a starter, which I don't think he will be if I'm being 100% honest. I think he'll have like a Kenny Pickett type situation where he sits the first couple weeks, some random dude starts over him, and then he comes in. But I just wanted to put him on here.
Yep.
So Will Levis is the Tampa starter. But low-key, I could see them going and getting like someone I didn't mention on here it's a kind of a spoiler, but like Carson Wentz is not a starter for me on any team.
He's not a starter for me either.
I could see him going to Tampa and just to compete with Will Levis.
Yeah.
And see what goes on.
Yeah, him
there.
and Jimmy G have the worst quarterback competition ever.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
They trade for both of them.
That'd be terrible, yeah. All right, the Carolina
Feel bad for that
Panthers.
coach.
Frank Reich is new in town. He loves his QBs. Who's the starter for Carolina?
I got him rocking with Desmond Ritter.
Really? Wait, Carolina?
You said Carolina.
You're good. Let's just do Atlanta. Let's
do Atlanta.
Atlanta. Who do you got for Atlanta?
Marcus Mariota. Desmond Ritter. I'm playing. Desmond Ritter
Okay.
will be the starter
Gotcha.
next year for the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay.
Just rock with the young guy.
Yeah. The Falcons are in a weird spot because this division is gonna suck next year, just like it did this past year.
God, this division.
The Falcons are low key in a spot, I think, to like maybe go out and trade for a star QB, and take over this division. I originally had Derek Carr going here, and then I thought of a better situation, so I don't have them getting a star QB. I have Baker Mayfield as the starting quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons next year. But I put a slash, so this is the only slash I have. I think they draft Anthony Richardson to be the next quarterback, but no, he's definitely not a day one starter. So, and Desmond Ridder, I think they give up on Desmond Ridder. So Baker is the starter for me.
Gotcha.
Carolina Panthers, who you got going to the Panthers?
This is where I have Will Levis going. I assume they're just going to draft a QB. And Will Levis is the guy. He's him. I don't actually know much about Will Levis.
We'll find out. I got C.J. Stroud going to the Carolina Panthers. I do think they draft QB, especially with the Frank Reich hire. He's former quarterback. Kind of just seems like it's a lock for them to draft a quarterback. Finally, the New Orleans Saints. Who is the next Saints quarterback?
The Saints,
or maybe the same.
Yeah. The Saints QB is so weird, and now that you mention it, Baker would look awesome in a Saints uni. I would love to see Carson Wentz in a.
I really thought about Carson Wentz for the Saints.
That would be pretty cool. But I've got them going back to their roots, to the best player on the team, the franchise. Got him going, Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston's back.
He was actually the best player for Chris Olave too, and you might as well just make him better by throwing in the ballsiest QB in the NFL.
I'm trying to think. I thought I had Andy Dalton on here somewhere, but I don't. Maybe the Bucs was the team that I was like, Andy Dalton is going to be with Will Levis, and I think that it wasn't Carson Wentz. So I don't know where Carson Wentz is, honestly. Who knows?
I don't need to see him.
Because I feel like Dalton will just end up being in the same situation he's been in the last 5 years. Goes to a team to be the backup, ends up starting most of the year. For the Saints, for me, I have them going and getting their next QB. I don't know how it's going to work financially. You just got a couple extra picks. It's not going to take much to go get this guy. They're moving on from him, I think. Ryan Tannehill is the next New Orleans Saint quarterback, the next great Saint quarterback.
Man, that would be tough. It would be hard to watch him play on Sundays.
It would be. It would be. He's going to do the finger roll at Mercedes-Benz. So.
But you got the check down king, Kamara.
Exactly.
At least, he's a better pass catcher than Derrick Henry.
For sure. You got Chris Olave.
But
Michael Thomas probably gets traded. But
you can't have the strategy of just hand the ball off every time.
Yeah, it's
anymore.
a little different. Yeah.
He's actually got to be good.
Probably gone. All right, that was the difficult NFC South. NFC West. By the way, there was no guarantees in the South, obviously. NFC West, let's start off with the two obvious ones, the LA Rams.
LA Rams, Matthew Stafford, you're getting a phone call.
Oh, it's Jake.
Oh, we don't need to answer that.
Call me on Snapchat. Why
does he do that?
Why does he do that? That's why I don't, even if I was doing nothing,
I would not
answer that, dude. Call me like a regular person.
FaceTime me like we
Literally,
typically do.
That would be fine. It's Snapchat audio, too. It's not even Snapchat FaceTime. All right, LA Rams. Matt Stafford, lock it in, guaranteed starter. I know Baker ended the year, cool, whatever. It's Matthew Stafford.
Oh my God, I think you just said Matt Ryan. You might have.
Did I say Matt Ryan?
You might have.
Matt Stafford. Matt Ryan is not on my list.
I don't know if you did, but it clicked in my head.
Is Matt Ryan on your list anywhere?
No.
I wonder if because he's not on mine either, and it's just he's not going to to right? I feel like he already would have retired.
Yeah, facts. He should have retired.
Where's he going to go?
It's the Saints.
Dude, he might.
The Colts. Stay there.
Oh, no, definitely not. All right, the Seattle Seahawks. Who do you got as the Seahawks starting quarterback?
I got Geno Smith. You just can't move away from him. He's a dog.
Yeah, exactly. Geno Smith is another lock it in, 100,000% starting at QB next year. All right, now we get into the two interesting ones, even though
one of them's not.
Arizona Cardinals.
I got Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
I just don't even know. I didn't want to go through the trouble. I will say, happily, actually. Can I see that pen? That blue pen? It's on your book. I'm going to just write in Carson Wentz as the day one starter.
Gotcha.
They make a big splash for a backup QB.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. Carson Wentz will be starting. Boom.
Boom. There you go. All right. For me, I put Kyler in parentheses because he obviously is the starter, but he's going to miss so many amount of games. I don't know how many with that torn ACL. I think this guy has done this job the last 3 or 4 years of his career. He just goes to a team, starts until their quarterback is ready to play, fills in. Jacoby Brissett heads to Arizona. Did it in Miami. Did it in Cleveland. Now he's going to do it in Arizona.
Shout out.
The difficult one. This team has 3 quarterbacks that you could say are all starting caliber at the moment. The San Francisco 49ers just missed the NFC Championship game. Like I said, they have 3 starting quarterbacks, but Josh Johnson was out there for him in the NFC Championship game. Couldn't get it done, obviously. Who you got?
49ers are going to have an epic QB battle this offseason. I already mentioned Jimmy G going to the Bucs, so clearly I don't have him involved in the QB battle.
And he's a lock-it-in traded. He is traded for sure.
Yeah, I think Brock Purdy and Trey Lance will have an epic quarterback battle. And don't be shocked if somehow Johnson wins it. I mean, he very well could step in and take it. But I think they're going to go back to Trey Lance. You drafted him. He's a big athlete. And the talk, and maybe they don't feel this way, but the talk always was with Brock Purdy that he wasn't really doing much.
No.
He was just kind of out there doing the right stuff, but he wasn't making big plays ever.
Right. Yeah, I got Trey Lance as well. I think that if you don't start Trey Lance, you got to trade him because it just doesn't make sense for everything you gave up for him. It's not like he's been bad. We have not seen him very much. He definitely has the skills. I trust Kyle Shanahan to develop him and let him use him to his strengths.
I trust anybody named Kyle.
Exactly. Me too. Yeah, I also do. So, and I this whole thing is he doesn't fit this offense. They don't need a mobile, athletic, deep ball quarterback like him. They need a guy like Brock Purdy. When Kyle Shanahan is the team's coach, I'm going to trust him to put the better player and make that team better. I mean, we can objectively say that Trey Lance is a better talent than Brock Purdy.
I mean, it's not even close.
He might not be the better fit, but I think they're going to figure it out.
Me too.
So Trey Lance is the starter as well for me. NFC East, this division has 3, I think, lock-it-in starters, so let's get those out of the way. Philadelphia Eagles.
Jalen Hurts.
Gardner Minshew put up a fight in those few games, but it's Jalen Hurts. Dallas Cowboys.
Dak Prescott.
As much as it would be cool, or at least they're thinking, he did ruin their season or whatever. What else? What are their other options?
Yeah.
You're not getting an upgrade unless somehow you get Rodgers, which you're not getting Rodgers. So Dak, yes. And the New York Giants.
D. Jones, my boy Daniel.
Vanilla Vic easily won him a playoff game, so obviously he has to come back. All right, this is an interesting one. Washington Commanders, who you got going here?
I've got written down Sam Howell.
Okay.
I just they're who's going to start at the Commanders QB next year? I looked it up and they love Sam Howell.
They love Sam Howell.
Going with Sam Howell.
I'm also going with Sam Howell. I said the same thing for Atlanta. Originally had Derek Carr here. I like Derek Carr to the Commanders. However, Sam Howell in that last game of the year balled the hell out. Proved to Ron Rivera, why are you starting Taylor Zinnicki and Carson Wentz over me every game? Sam Howell showed that he has a chance to be this team's QB next year. This division is still pretty good, so maybe going out and trading for a QB isn't the best spot for you. Rock with Sam Howell. That's what I got as well. All right, let's move on to the AFC, which is, I don't know if it's tougher or not. I'm not really sure.
They don't have the NFC South, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Even though the AFC South is
pretty bad.
There's one lock it in. That's it.
For sure.
All right, let's start in the East. AFC East, the Buffalo Bills.
Josh Allen,
lock it in. New England Patriots.
Mac Jones, lock it in, unless Bailey Zappi just goes off, but it's Mac Jones. Miami Dolphins. I really hope it's Tua, but who knows?
It's going to be Tua. Yeah. I think he said he wants to return next year. Miami said that they're committed to him. I hope he's healthy.
Oh, my God. I hope, man.
I hope so, too. This is the big one, the New York Jets. There's so many options. We all know they're getting a new starter. It's not going to be Zach Wilson. It's not going to be Mike White. It's definitely not going to be Joe Flacco. Who's it going to be?
I mean, let's name off the quarterbacks in the division. Josh Allen, Tua Tagovailoa, and Mac Jones. I think you need to get the best QB in the division. I think you have an opportunity to. If Derek Carr is on the market, you can have the best QB in the whole division. Kidding, obviously, but I do believe Derek Carr is the next starter for the New York Jets. It's where he's going.
I also have Derek Carr as the next New York Jet.
Damn, I really wish we wouldn't have done that.
I know, right?
How do we both have Derek Carr?
Because I literally had Carr written in 2 different spots, and I was like, nah, I'm going to put him on the Jets. I think the Jets just have to get an upgrade. Like they're going to ball out. They already came out. It said that it's well known that New York Jets GM has told the whole league that he will pay the price for Aaron Rodgers. Like he is going to overpay for Aaron Rodgers. But does Aaron Rodgers want to go to a team that's full of young dudes?
Yeah.
And the Jets? No, I really don't think so. He's going to go where he wants. And I don't think it's the Jets, even if you overpay for him. So if you're willing to overpay for Aaron Rodgers and you don't get him, you know damn well they're going to panic and be like, oh my God, we didn't get Aaron Rodgers. We need to go get Derek Carr. He's the next best guy available. We can't get Lamar, even though Lamar on the Jets would be pretty cool too. But Derek Carr is who I got going to the Jets. AFC West, another division that has 3 locks and one interesting one. Kansas City Chiefs.
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes. LA Chargers.
Herbo. G Herbo.
Yep, Jay Herbo.
G Herbo, the rapper.
Not Chase Daniel.
Sadly.
Denver Broncos.
And why can't I think of any of his nicknames?
He has a lot of them.
Danger Russ.
Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah. That was what I was trying to get out. Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, I got Russ. This is one of the unfortunate lock-it-ins.
Yeah, this is not. You're not
lock
happy
it in.
with that.
Yeah, but he's there. And then the Las Vegas Raiders. This is the tough one. Who you got?
There's been a lot of talk recently about NFL script writing and how the NFL scripted and they get their scripts every year. You know what would make a pretty awesome script? Hate to say it, but Rodgers and Devontae teaming back up, it'd be pretty hype. And wearing and playing for the dirtiest football franchise ever.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, it would be awesome. It actually would be. Like, it would be cool to see Rodgers in Oakland.
It would.
And that's where I've got him going.
Yeah, that was one of the teams I was debating it with. Devontae Adams has been hinting a lot at Aaron Rodgers coming back, which I don't know why. I thought they kind of had beef from how their whole contract situations went down last offseason. I kind of wish they had beef because it would make me like Devontae a little bit more.
They must have squashed that shit really quickly.
They must have, yeah. The Raiders, they got to do something because the Derek Carr's out. You made him unhappy. Josh Jacobs is probably gone. You got to do something. I don't have them getting Aaron Rodgers. So who's the next best guy available that isn't Derek Carr? It's Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo is headed to the Las Vegas Raiders. Is he elite? No. Can he get you to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Do the Raiders have the defense to get you to the Super Bowl? No.
But you do have Jimmy G.
So go figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, figure out your defense because I don't think you should spend all your money on Aaron Rodgers just to be a first-round exit.
Yeah, facts.
So I got Jimmy G going to the Raiders. AFC South. This is a tougher division. This one is actually, let's do AFC North first because that one's boring. AFC North, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Kenny Pickett.
Kenny franchise, lock it in. Cincinnati Bengals.
Joe Shiesty.
Joe. Cleveland Browns.
Deshaun.
Another unfortunate lock it in.
I was going to do something cool, but he doesn't deserve it.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson will be the starter for the Cleveland Browns next season.
Boom, move on. The Baltimore Ravens.
Lamar is going to be forced to come back, sadly.
I wanted to put Lamar for a different team just because it'd be fun, but it's just like...
He's a Raven.
There's no world where he leaves. Like, they're going to give him a contract extension offer that's less than what he wants, and he's going to decline it, and then they're going to say, okay, we're going to franchise tag you. And
you
then
go next year.
And then you play.
Yeah.
And it's just like... It's
really shitty out of the Ravens. Do they not realize all you're doing is pissing off? Because then next year, they're going to be like, oh, well, here's the extension you asked for last year. And he's going to be like, no.
I want more. The NFL cap continues to rise.
Middle finger to y'all. Why didn't you give it to me last year? Well, you didn't prove it to us. Dude, you're pissing off your star.
There is a world where they tag him and then they trade him. It happened with Devontae Adams last year where he got tagged. He said, I'm not playing on the tag. They were forced to trade him. He signs a bag with another team.
Lamar has the right to do that.
But this is a quarterback. It's a lot tougher to do that with a quarterback because he's an elite quarterback and he's still young. And it's like, I don't really know what the price. You look at the price Deshaun Watson went for last year, and he was facing really bad allegations. I was going to say what they were, but I'm not going to. Like, he was under some hot shit.
Yeah,
got paid
bad
$230 million guaranteed and like 3 first-round picks.
And here's a normal guy who has been your franchise for 4 years.
Yeah.
Big trust, woo-woo.
Yeah, who has won the MVP.
He's the guy.
He's a legendary follow on Twitter. Like,
it would be one of the biggest fumblings of all time if they don't sign Lamar Jackson for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
That is the biggest fumble.
And it's just like, who's going to be the quarterback? I mean, Tyler Huntley did make the Pro Bowl.
He did make the Pro Bowl.
We'll give him that. He is a Pro Bowler. Same amount of Pro Bowls as Matt Stafford. just sucks. Yeah, I know. All right. Did we do them all in the AFC North? Yeah, we did. All
that
right.
guy does not belong in the Pro Bowl.
No,
what a
he doesn't
shitty
at all.
Oh.
Sound a little mad.
Yeah.
Okay, AFC South. There's one lock it in here. Jacksonville Jaguars.
And Mr. Never Lose on Saturday, Trevor Lawrence.
Yep, only once.
Yeah, you're right. He did lose.
Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, easy, lock it in. All right, let's go to the Houston Texans. Who is starting for the Houston Texans?
This is where I've got Bryce Young going. Lock it in. Go to the Texans. They need a QB.
Yeah, I think that the only way Bryce Young doesn't go here is if another team decides to swoop in and draft him and trade for that first overall pick. Maybe it's the Raiders. Who knows? Maybe it's the Colts. Doesn't seem like a Colts move. Maybe it's the Bucks. I don't think the Bears don't want to drop that far.
Are you saying it's not a Colts move because he's younger than 35?
Yes, exactly. That is why I'm saying that. Yeah, like instead of trading a bunch of picks to go get a young guy, let's trade a bunch of picks to get a guy that's going to play like 1 year on our team. Yeah. Bryce Young going to Houston. I don't know if this is because Texans trade up or Chicago just can't find a trade and they decided to just draft a guy. So the let's end on that one because they're fun. The Tennessee Titans. Who is the Tennessee Titans starter next year?
Holy moly. I just realized that according to my list, I don't have Tannehill as a day one starter next year, which is like he probably should be.
He will be somewhere, yeah.
But like, does he deserve it? Probably not, but his name will get him somewhere.
He will be. Like if Wentz was a starter last year, like Tannehill will be.
Yeah, I've got Malik Willis starting here.
Yeah, I was going to have Malik Willis starting here, and then I really thought to myself, like, the Tennessee Titans were in a crucial game to make the playoffs, and they didn't make the playoffs. They benched Malik Willis for a dude they signed off another team's practice squad a week earlier. Do they have that confidence in Malik Willis? I'm going to say no. But I got a guy who I think that is going to come in and start, and they'll battle, and maybe Malik Willis ends up taking over because he's just not ready yet. I think Sam Darnold is going to be the next starter of the Tennessee Titans. He had a good end of the year for the Panthers. I think he has earned at least if he's not a starter, he's like one of the first guys that is one of the best backups, I guess, basically. So I think he's going to battle and be the starter for the Titans.
Be cool to see Zach Wilson too. Like
I was thinking about putting Wilson on. I think he'll probably get traded, right? Like there's no point in keeping him around. Like you might as well rather keep Flacco or Mike White as your backup.
They're
QB.
both better. And they both.
And you could at least go. You could probably get like at least
a second.
I was gonna say at least a second for Zach Wilson. You you got a second out of Sam Darnold a couple years ago. So. Lastly, I'm trying to think who yours is. I'm trying to think who you haven't said. Like Jimmy G. Oh, I think I know who it is for the Colts. Okay, Colts, go ahead.
For the Indianapolis Colts, I have them starting CJ Stroud.
I was going to say, I didn't think you said Stroud.
I have not said Stroud. The Ohio State QB, the future bust. Just kidding.
Future bust.
Just kidding. That's so ruthless. That is just the most rude. It's just because he goes to Ohio State. Nothing to do with him. Shout out CJ Stroud. He's going to be starter for the Colts.
Yeah, I just like the logical move would be to draft CJ Stroud or Bryce.
But what are the Colts?
But you're the Indianapolis Colts, and you realize you have Jim Irsay as your GM, who is the most like, I'm the GM guy ever. Like he tweets every time they have had an interview with a coach this offseason. Like, just completed interview with Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn with like flexing emojis and like fire emojis.
He's working.
Like, dude, you're like 70 years old.
He's working his ass off. His PR team is balling.
He's the biggest, like, and he went on somebody's podcast recently too and was just talking. He just he's just one of them dudes. Like, I'm the GM of the Colts.
I feel like he's the guy who always wants to make like the $1 million move. Like,
I
want to make the massive splash where everybody's gonna be like, no way that's gonna work, and then it does work. Like we're gonna draft the foreigner every year. You know what I mean?
And like I thought Matt Ryan was actually the move. Like the last it really is a comical. The last so many years it was Andrew Luck is gone. You pissed him off. Well, I mean you didn't piss him off, but like he retired. And the Colts fans are the worst fans of all time. And then you get Jacoby Brissett for a year. All right, he's all right. You knew that was a bridge year. Let's go get Phillip Rivers because he's still that
He's a Hall of Famer.
Hey, he didn't have a bad year. He led you to the playoffs, but he, in general, couldn't throw the ball longer than 10 yards his final year of his career, like Drew Brees.
Big Ben style.
Then you're like, all right, let's go get a guy that is younger, like he was good before he got injured. We can reestablish this. Frank Reich was his OC. Carson Wentz joins the team. Carson Wentz, which I thought that was a good move.
Me
I
too.
really did.
I thought that one was a good move.
He arrives in Indianapolis, decides that I am no longer starting caliber quarterback. off the table. So then you're like, man, we really need to go get somebody that has been good their whole career. No way this can mess it up. They didn't have an injury that ruined it. Let's go get Matty Ice, Matt Ryan. I've always been a Matt Ryan guy, and I will never forgive the Indianapolis Colts for ruining Matt Ryan's legacy. Actually, no, his legacy got ruined in a different event.
Yeah. You blame the Colts.
But the 33-0 loss to the fraudulent Minnesota Vikings, the two biggest fraud teams in the league last year. Matt Ryan has the worst year of his career, probably no longer a starter. We didn't have him as one.
He was terrible.
And it's just like he was a top half QB, I think, last year, like 2 seasons
They started
ago.
Sam Ellinger over him. Who?
Yeah, and then Jeff Saturday, you hire him
my
to come
God.
in halfway through the year, and he wins you one game. And all you're going to do is use that high pick you got to go get Aaron Rodgers to be the next quarterback of the Colts. This is what I'm saying. They can't go get Derek Carr. Like, they can't go get Jimmy G because it's going to happen again. You need to either go big or stop and just draft a dude.
Yeah.
Like, you can't continue to do this. And do I think that they're going to draft a dude? Hell no.
Doesn't seem like the smart move.
Plus,
So why the Colts do it?
Pat McAfee connection with Aaron Rodgers. They're like boyfriends. So I have Aaron Rodgers going to the Colts.
And then it would just be poetic justice for him to suck ass for a whole season.
Exactly. And they go 7-10, and Aaron Rodgers retires, and they spent all that. They're going to trade the 4th pick because the 4th pick isn't enough to get Aaron Rodgers.
No.
You're going to trade the 4th pick and your next year's first and maybe another first.
And they'll do it without hesitating.
Just for Aaron Rodgers for 1 year, and then he's going to retire.
I bet you the Packers called them like, all we want is 4 firsts, and they don't even send a counter offer.
That's all you want?
Huh? Click. Yeah, for sure. Click.
And then they're going to be average.
Yep.
And like I
hate the Colts.
I won't forgive the Colts. I picked them to be the best team in the AFC this year, and they were not that.
I actually hate the Colts. Like they're one
I think
of my
I do
least
too.
favorite
I think I do
teams.
too. We just talked a lot of shit about Jim Irsay. So, all right, everybody, that's it. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this was fun. And if you have any other ideas, let us know. We'll be back this weekend for another 25 words or less video. So look out for that.
Peace.